What is going on, everybody? Yeah, I know y'all motherfuckers is tired of seeing me, but you gotta deal with it anyway. We're live again. And I'm here with my man, Steve Boykinen. This man, for some reason, and it's crazy to me because Steve, you got like 2,000 subscribers, bro? Something like that.
Yeah, getting there.
And for some reason, he has incurred the wrath of both the Daily Beast and Tim Pool. Yes, you heard it for the first time in 2019, 2020 history, because Tim Pool all of a sudden decided he's a right wing guy who's going to keep pretending he's a liberal. For the first time, Tim Pool and Daily Beast have joined forces specifically to defend Pete Buttigieg, of all people. Yeah, I know it don't sound right because that seems like the type of person, like given what we have learned about Tim Pool's recent history, doesn't that seem like generally the type of person that Tim wouldn't like? And Daily Beast, we know for a fact, prints a lot of things and makes a lot of accusations that Tim's literally has a whole career off of debunking and complaining about. So, Steve, break it down for me, bro. The hell happened, bro? How did you, in all of your magnificence, get to expose Tim Pool by having him rationalize defending the Daily Beast and defending Pete Buttigieg?
So back in April of 2019, I did like a 10 or 15-minute video called Pete Buttigieg, CIA Democrat. And I broke down Pete Buttigieg's history. I kind of compared that to the career arc of other people that we know that have gone on to be intelligence assets. Um, and you gotta understand, this is back in April of 2019. Like, nobody was talking about this.
Yeah.
And the minute I looked at him, I was like, okay, so you've got
caveat. We were talking about it too, because I
right
know
on.
what time it is. Yeah, I know how the intelligence community gets down, bro. Yeah.
But so apparently this guy named Scott Bixby, who writes for the Daily Bootlicker, he saw the video and it made him want to put together an entire very lengthy piece of fish wrap on the far left internet and their crazy conspiracy theory that CIA Pete might be CIA. So he emailed, or he got DM me on Twitter. Hey, I want to interview you about an article that I'm doing about whether or not Pete Buttigieg is a CIA asset. I got a couple of
You know
questions
what you
for
do?
you.
Do you know what you do in those? Just from my personal experience, bro. You ignore the fuck out of their ass. Just future reference. It happened to me
Oh
too.
yeah, but here's the thing. Fuck it, because like sometimes you just got to come out and say it. So I did, and I had a very measured, very reasonable series of answers to his questions. Breaking down Pete going to Harvard and Oxford, what he majored in, becoming proficient in several different languages along the way, and then going to work directly for McKinsey.
Yeah, that's a pipeline for sure.
And then after that, but after he works for McKinsey, that's when he enlists. And he
Which
enlists
is but if y'all don't know, that is absolutely unheard of. Because you don't go to McKinsey and make 15,000, 20,000 a year. You take a massive pay cut for literally no reason. The reason I say it's no reason, I'm just military experience here. I say it's no reason because you gave up hundreds of thousands of dollars to go into the Navy only to become what, 02, 03 at the max?
Well, Pete Buttigieg is a lieutenant in the Naval Reserve Intelligence Corps. He operates under the ONI.
So
I'm sure.
So he was only a lieutenant. So he was only in 02. And he so what the hell? You don't do that unless
of course
you were recruited to.
Yeah, someone's got plans for you. In between becoming a Naval Reserve intelligence officer and working for McKinsey, joined something called the Truman Project. The Truman Project is supposed to be the counterbalance to the Center for National Policy, which is a far-right think tank. Yet the Truman Project was one of the original founders and on the board of directors, one Henry Kissinger.
Yep.
So all of this is happening while he's still active duty. He runs for mayor of South Bend because that's where he grew up. Went to a Jesuit.
Not active. He couldn't have been active in running. He had to be reservist. There's no way.
Yeah.
Because if he was active duty, he literally would not have been able to run. You can't even be in politics.
He's in the Naval Reserves. He's never left the Naval Reserves. He's still, currently an intelligence officer in the Naval Reserve,
which he doesn't talk about.
And he never talks about that. He never talks about what he does for the Naval Reserves. So anyway, I go through all of this, and I say, does that mean that everyone with this career arc is automatically a CIA asset? Of course not, but you'd be hard pressed to find a more apt,
it's a description,
willing participant in the intelligence outside of the intelligence organization they already work in.
Yes.
And
I want to interrupt one more time because I want people to understand, just because I literally worked in an intelligence brigade. Obviously, I'm in the political side now. I've seen how this goes, and people need to understand something. I don't know if you ever seen the interview with Cody Snodgrass. The original person picked to do the Oklahoma City bombing, but was almost assassinated because he refused to attack Americans on American soil. And then he was going to expose Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton pushing the crime bill through, and then immediately corrupting the ATF and the DEA to fill those prisons. So he was about to expose both of these things, and they tried to assassinate him. He ended up eventually getting thrown in jail before he was exonerated. But he was explaining, so there are two different types of assets. There are official assets, and generally they don't even necessarily always call them CIA, right? So that's just like a readily available moniker that you could relate to or understand if you're new to it. But generally they just call them intelligence assets, and there are official assets and unofficial assets. But either way, there is a specific path that you go through generally. You're definitely going to one of the top 5 schools in the country. You're definitely going to either get your master's or your PhD or a postgraduate degree in something very specific. Cody Snodgrass's case, he was one of the best engineers in the country, and that's why they picked him up. Nuclear engineers on top of that. And so if you are rhetorically gifted, you generally find yourself in Oxford at some point, and Harvard at some point, or Yale at some point. Sometimes, here's the kicker, you don't even know you're getting picked up to be an asset until you just find yourself there one day. You just all of a sudden get a scholarship that you're like, huh? Oh, I mean, I guess that's cool. And it's like a scholarship that is literally improbable and impossible. Yeah, you do great in school, bro, but don't gas yourself up. There are hundreds of thousands of people who are probably better suited for, like, for example, the Rhodes Scholarship than Pete Buttigieg was. Here's the problem with that. If you understood the history of Cecil Rhodes, you would know every problem there is with getting the Rhodes Scholarship. Right. Not saying everybody gets the Rhodes Scholarship is problematic, but look at most of the people who are problematic. They usually get the Rhodes Scholarship. Rachel Maddow,
Cory Booker and Rachel Maddow were all Rhodes Scholars.
Cory Booker and Rachel Maddow, exactly. And who else? Who's the first one?
Bill Clinton.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Whoa, yeah. I did not know that.
Bill Clinton, Rhodes Scholar.
I did not know that. Bro, I did not know that. That is crazy. And so I just wanted to help people understand. So, like, you have people that are like, yeah, I work for the intelligence community, and then I was told to go deep undercover. Then you have people who are picked up along the way. And so Buttigieg could have been a combination of both, right? We don't know anything about Buttigieg's family history, but
well, we do. We know his dad was studying to be a Jesuit priest, and then all of a sudden he was told to quit the priesthood and go take a teaching job at Notre Dame.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? That's weird. Super weird.
So the Vatican is its own country, right?
Yes.
And as its own country, it would be a requirement in this day and age, but certainly when it became a nation state to have its own intelligence service.
Yes.
The Jesuit order functions as the intelligence service for the papacy.
So basically, you're saying the teaching.
To the best of my understanding.
Is he in PWAD? Is he in Peace, War, and Defense? Is that what he's teaching?
I can't remember what he teaches. I can't.
Bro, if he was in PWAD, that would be like UNC inadvertently. Well, I would say the school inadvertently funnels intelligence assets, but like the people who are like the professors, quote unquote, in other words, former military officials, former intelligence officials that then get their PhDs and then they become professors. They funnel intelligence assets through UNC. PWAD, Peace, War, and Defense is a major thing.
That's a fairly traditional thing at this point. All of our alphabet agencies openly recruit on Harvard's campus, on Yale's campus. I'm sure they do in larger state schools too. Cynthia McKinney was on my show about a year ago, and she talked about how academia had become the new home of COINTELPRO, and how academia is essentially just a pipeline to support and maintain the establishment.
Yep.
So it stands to reason.
Oh, and that's for those of you who are on the right. I just got a caveat for those of you. That's for both sides of the fence, not just the left. So in case you're wondering. Yeah,
no, Ben Shapiro didn't drop out in 8th grade to go on to become the blithering right-wing idiot he is. That guy went to school.
Exactly. And last time I checked, the George Bushes of the world, the Trumps of the world, well, Trump's a little bit older, so I don't know if that counts. But a lot of these people, Dave Rubin, a lot of these people went to these institutions. Hell, the guy who tried to critique him the most is only mad because he lost his spot at one of these elitist institutions that he was perfectly fine with. And I'm talking about Charlie Kirk. He was perfectly fine with the elitist institutions until he didn't get into the elitist institution that he wanted. And then he was astroturfed by the right to go and talk about schools that he's never actually attended, so he has no idea how they actually ran.
George Will and P.J. O'Rourke, like the conservative real thinker. P.J. O'Rourke was the head of National Lampoon at Harvard.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. See.
I know. So they call it their dark age.
When the Daily Beast smeared you, this is where I thought that somebody like Tim Pool would come to your rescue. Like, oh my gosh, these SJW warriors. They can't just hear a rational argument based off of history and facts. That's not what he did, though. He joined in on the fun. Explain to me how that went down.
One of my Twitter followers tagged me in this. Tim Pool did like a 10.5-minute segment on his show dedicated to this article, and Tim Pool, if you've ever watched him, when he gets excited, he starts to jump octaves, and pretty soon he's making Rhiannon Giddens look like tone. He opens by trying to explain to his audience that there's a common defense among liberals that the left doesn't have the crazy conspiracy theorists that the right does, and then points immediately to this article and to me, and he pronounced my name right, Niko, so I know he's watched at least something that I've done.
You got to, because boy, listen, I had seen your name multiple times. I was like, what the and then I saw you, I think we were on the show together for the first time for the Assange vigil when I heard Andrew pronounce you. I was like, that's how you pronounce that shit? So you know he's watching you. You know he's watching the Assange visuals.
So Tim Pool correctly says Poikinen, which is not easy the first like 15 or 20 times. And proceeds to liken me because I went through in detail, which the Daily Beast article, by the way, takes everything incredibly out of context, moves stuff around, takes the joke seriously, and takes the serious stuff obviously as a joke. So Tim Pool likens me to QAnon, or basically exactly QAnon. I think he said it multiple times.
That would make you way more connected.
I'm proffering this set of facts. I am immediately Q.
Yeah.
Right.
Which once again would make you way more connected than I can tell y'all Steve actually is. Because Q is real. I tell you, Q is real. It's a real ass psyop. It's real. Like, because they're talking, I'm telling you from just once again, experience in government, the stuff that they're saying, a lot of it you could not know unless you were close to somebody. But when you're in the intelligence community, you're close to everything.
Well, and what Q does that's so nefarious is that he'll follow it up with information that's been publicly available for years, but because the people that are watching that weren't exposed to it, they believe that they're learning about it for the first time.
Yep, that's exactly what
at any rate, Tim spends the first like 5 minutes of this segment squealing and screeching and getting higher pitched and higher, and literally says, "The Daily Beast to the rescue." I have perused the Daily Beast, and I don't think they're capable of saving much of anything, let alone the truth or reality or any sort of scope of that.
The only thing that Daily Beast has been able to save itself from is fucking lawsuits, because I don't understand how they haven't been brought the fuck under through lawsuits by now, honestly. So that's true, I guess.
Yeah, well, you know that one of the reasons that they brought Chelsea Clinton onto the board of the Daily Beast was probably to scare away a lot of people from suing them, because there's a history with that family and people turning up dead.
Yeah, it's true. It's literally an improbable number of that people being connected. You know, not saying that they were involved, but the math is there. Look up Richard Charlin if you have not. Look up Richard Charlin. I think it's richardcharlin.com. He does all these probabilities, electoral probabilities. Somebody asked him to do the probability of so many people turning up dead being connected to one person or being employed by one person. Bruh, the numbers were scary. The numbers were scary. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, and infinitely greater than the odds of Tim Canova getting 5% across the board.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a whole different rabbit hole. Interestingly enough, Tim transitions from smearing me to talking about all the times that he's been accused of being an intelligence asset, to the point to where he had to bounce out of Venezuela because too many people had told the folks that he was trying to interview, "Hey man, this guy is not legit. This happened during Occupy. This happened everywhere he's tried to be. Is he's basically been chased out because too many people felt like he was too close to intelligence."
But my thing is, if it's one thing if it happens within, like, maybe you were in DC, it happened, and then somebody recognized you from DC in New York, and then it happened again. How the hell do people feel like that when you're in Venezuela? You have to be doing something. There has to be some type of intelligence on you for people to even jump to that conclusion.
Right. I mean, look, if you're getting sent to the Mideast for, you know, a not huge online publication, and all of a sudden your career jumps up 3 steps and you've got that blue check, you're either playing the game to advance your career and just blithely unaware that you're cooperating indirectly with intelligence, or you're cooperating directly with intelligence. It could be the first, but if it
happens a lot the first too. It happens a lot. The first option, they pretend like they don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm just doing the right things that I need to do to get the job that I eventually want. And if it just so happens that part of that is you know, bowing to the national security state, well, I'm not doing anything different than anybody else that's been in my position. And I wouldn't suggest that Tim Pool is a shady character were it not for way too many first-person accounts and way too many primary source people talking about their own experience.
Because you were at Occupy, right?
Yeah, in Oakland.
Yeah, so I mean, because he wasn't. I've heard things about him. Warren too. I heard people were catching on to Warren pretty early. but not like, not the heads, but like the people on the ground. Coincidentally enough, Occupy popped off, and she was given so much FaceTime, and it was while she was running for office, if I recall. And that's a lot of the reason why some people believe that she went after the banks, because if you have to kind of remember what was happening at the time, what was a popular thing that she could do that wouldn't really yield any realistic results and could actually be co-opted to get what they wanted. Because that's exactly what happened. 2011 was when the Occupy movement popped off. 2011 when she was running. CFPB was pushed through before she got into office. And then the CFPB was then used as a Trojan horse to usher in Dodd-Frank, which made the banks bigger and did everything the CFPB was supposed to stop from happening. And although she was wagging all her fingers, both fingers, sometimes simultaneously at the banks, she never mentioned the fact that Dodd-Frank got pushed through because of the CFPB.
Warren is incredibly cozy with the securities and financial industries. They gave her like $1.6 million in donations over her first couple of years in office while she was wagging her fingers at the banks, while she was working with CFPB. That's when they donated the most to her.
Oh, shit.
Now, that number hasn't gone down like incredibly significantly up until she announced she was running for president. But let's not forget that when she announced and she was having a grassroots funded only campaign during the primary, she got to roll over something over $8 million to start off with.
10.
Was it 10?
It was 10. And we broke that story
that she had taken from fucking all of these different PACs and all of these different corporations. Look, I saw a great meme today. It was a picture of a Jeep Cherokee, a white Jeep Cherokee, and it said, "I'm going to name this vehicle Elizabeth Warren because it's completely white, but it still says it's a Cherokee."
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so funny. And
I was like, well, shit, that's a keeper. That's hilarious. We were going to talk a little bit about the rat fuckery that's going on. And I know that we don't have much time. So let's get into that a little bit.
Yeah, man. What's your take on that? I know you don't like get involved into the race, which what you cover, in my opinion, to a large degree, is much more important than the race, and it's important in shaping how we view the candidates in this race, because you focus on Assange, the policies, or the issues surrounding why the fuck are we even at this point. So I know you don't generally watch the race, or no, excuse me, you don't talk about it on your show, but you do watch it very closely. And I would love to know what your opinion is about this super surprising backstabbing of Elizabeth Warren to Bernie Sanders. What, like, who saw that coming? Did you see it coming, Steve?
Niko.
There's no indication, Steve. I don't know if you did see it come. I just can't tell how.
Turns out, both you and I have been talking about this for quite some time, and there's two really surprising things to me, and it's not necessarily like I thought that they would wait until maybe a few days before Iowa to do something like this, but this is a big debate night. I know that a lot of the people in her media circle and a lot of the people in her campaign come from the Clinton campaign, and they probably wanted to, or thought they could dominate the news cycle with this shit. And so that's why they chose to do it. That surprised me. But the people who were like, I never saw this coming. How could you not? What have you been doing? Niko, this may come as a surprise, but I smoked the pot. And I thought it was funny.
Really? Because that thing on the back of your laptop, I thought it was a hibiscus plant. Oh, okay. So it's pot. Got you. Okay, understood.
But no, I mean, I couldn't believe the number of people that were like, well, she's not an ally anymore.
Anymore?
When was she? Like, we live in a soundbite culture. You watch this woman wag her finger at the banks and you were sold, and you ignored everything else for years and years, when there is just a litany of idiotic centrist to flat out racist to far right ideology that Warren has espoused, has voted for, has went and made happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Blew my fucking mind.
It was, like I said, it was, when people were surprised by this, I was confused. And it's funny because I shouldn't have been confused because I knew people were going to be surprised. But I was still confused. I'm like, bro, are we for real? Like, it's like we have, I mean, the progressive movement generally. Okay, so let me be real about the progressive movement and the left overall. We have an emotional maturity problem. A lot of the left comes from a lot of different backgrounds, right? In fact, I would say that our backgrounds are very unique and are very diverse. And that's part of the reason why we became leftists, our own personal struggles or the struggles of those we've seen around us. Now, we're, for the most part, I wasn't a super weirdo in school, but I was like the hood guy who was on the debate team. So that's about as weird as you can get in the hood. We were all weirdos basically growing up. We were, right? No social intelligence is how I would describe most of the left. And that oftentimes come from you actually being exempt from groupthink for so long because you were never in the goddamn group. You were not in the cliques. So you didn't get to see Ashley stab Lauren in the back by kissing her boyfriend, and then Lauren dates Ashley's boyfriend, and then you're like, I don't understand. Why would Lauren want to get revenge? I'm not going to hang around them anymore because I've learned. Like, you never had those lessons growing up. And I can see this in the movement. And it's the same reason why you get a lot of these weirdos who get famous off of YouTube. In the progressive circle, they never had any girls hit on them, and so now that it's happening, they have no idea how to handle it. So you get Jordan Sheridan's. I'm just saying, and so but that's what it is. Like, the left isn't. They don't at large. There is not a lot of social intelligence on the left. And when I say social intelligence, I mean they just don't know how to read a room sometimes. And then their personal convictions and their emotions get involved. You know, it is what it is. It's the things that make us great as a unit are also things we need to work on as a unit and acknowledge. And so when you have a situation like Warren, who literally stabbed Bernie in the back 3 years ago. Bro, hold up. Is my math right? Not even 3 years yet. Not even 3 years. 2.5 years ago. Okay? Then you have in the same exact race, the person who sacrificed one of the most powerful positions in the DNC to endorse Bernie and made it clear, first of all, fuck the DNC, there's some cheaters, and second of all, fuck the Clintons, I'm not scared of them. And your thought is, you know what? I think Warren make a great VP. You got to acknowledge you got some problems, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a movement, we got issues. And it's something that we're gonna have to address. We got some scars, bro. This shit left some scars on us. Let's say yesterday, the fact that there was a good portion of the progressive movement who was perfectly fine with calling Warren a progressive means that necessarily there had to be that many at least that were okay with Warren using the plight of indigenous people and then subsequently throwing them under the bus. And knowing it, because it was plastered literally everywhere, so you couldn't pretend like you didn't know it, but it didn't matter that much to you because you're not indigenous. You're not one of the women being raped in those camps and then not being able to go and testify in court because you're saying, well, that's your tribal land, can't do anything about it. You're not the one having drugs funneled through your damn tribal lands, and like, you're not the one who has your land taken away. You can't even make money off your damn land. You're not one of those people. So you say you care. You were out, oh, wave my sign. Oh man, Standing Rock. Then when it's time to put the rubber to the road and actually stand by your convictions and do the work that we need to get the right people elected, you went with, well, I like Warren, so I think she'll be a great VP. Hold on, but Tulsi's right here. Oh no, I don't like Tulsi. She just said some nice things, but I don't like her. I don't like her. Once again,
look, man, there's an element within the progressive community that had no problem quoting Peter Friedrich, but will not even look at the open secrets on Elizabeth Warren.
Absolutely, 100%. Peter fucking Friedrich, bro. Oh my god, dog. I expose that man. Something Pasta expose that man every time we encounter him. I said, bro, didn't I tell you to stop coming to Tulsi events until you had some paperwork for me? Because every time we come here, you want to hold up one of these signs talking about the money that I knew for a fact, especially at the time, Toasty did not have that money that he was talking about. Trust me, I knew. I was like, bro, if you for real about this, we need to go inside and talk to Toasty together, because I'm under the impression they broke as hell. So come on, let's talk. No, I'm good on. I don't want to. No. Let's come on, bro. Let's go. Let's talk to her. No. I mean, bro, I said, listen, Toasty is about aloha. She will sit down with you and we can iron this out together. No. I don't want to. I said. I was really weird because you had no problem yelling at her through a microphone. You had no problem infiltrating her event. You had no problem bringing all these people here to wave signs, getting real goddamn. As Max Kellerman said this morning on First Take, he said, "Bro, you got a real aggressive posture there." He was getting real aggressive with his posture and making it seem like he was going to damn charge the line. And I'm like, okay, so of course we had to bring security, but if you want to sit down and talk with Toasty, I can make it happen. Oh, no. Bro, you're full of shit. And people believe that guy.
Why would you sacrifice a marketable career as a fucking spineless smear merchant when you could go and get your ass kicked by Tulsi Gabbard?
True, right?
That's what he's looking at. And the fact that we have, whether it's Peter Friedrich, whether it's the
I like how you said that, get your ass kicked by, because that's what he was aiming for. He wanted to get. Seriously, that's what, because it makes him look, he gets to play the victim, right? And make her look bad. He gets famous for it, but I don't think he got as much fame as he thought he would.
Well, I think he was really, honestly, I think he was holding out for a fucking TYT correspondent gig.
You think so? You know what? Because Anna was following him and had retweeted him, I believe, and liked a lot of his tweets. So you might be very right about that. I didn't even think about that.
And when that didn't come, I don't know, man. I think he doubled down on bitter and probably burnt a bunch of bridges.
You think? That man unblocked half of Twitter at this point. You went from not being known to progressive Twitter to people kind of think you were credible, but only because you served their means at the time. And then they're like, oh, no, this dude's fucking crazy, dog. We should just back off of this dude. And it's funny because where has he been at since? Since he lost his little 15 minutes of fame, where has he been at?
I don't even know. I don't know enough about the dude at this point to guess where he would be.
Well, we about to do an expose on him, so yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna figure out where he been hanging around. Figure out if he one of them little assets. We got a super chat actually before we head out. Progressives are soft capitalists. Oh, by the way, Charles Pereira, thanks. He said progressives are soft capitalists. That's why they are so weak and cowards. It's what you get for never reading at least a bit of Marx. And, I mean, it's hard to really disagree with that. A little bit crass in the way you say it, but it's real. Most progressives are legitimately soft capitalists. They think they're not because it's trendy to call themselves socialist or democratic socialists now. Or now they're like, shit, democratic socialist sounds too socialist. I'm a social democrat. The fuck does that mean? In other words, I believe in not being a dick to everybody, but I'm still blue no matter who. That's it. That is literally the...
I've said for a very long time that the pathway to neoliberalism starts with picking a candidate in the Democratic primary and then spending the rest of your days justifying their shitty words and choices. And we see so much of that in the progressive element, particularly when it comes to the issue of Julian Assange. And Tulsi, to her credit, is on the right side of history from day one on that. Bernie Sanders is still turning his back on the camera and watching. The one opportunity the one time I've ever heard him say Julian Assange's name out loud, he was repeating it back to Dak Rouleau. And then he was like, no, we're not going to do this. I'm out of here. And
I can't talk. I'm aware of the situation. I can't talk about it right now. But you had time to do a whole video celebrating a CIA asset, literally somebody who was in the CIA and got rehired by the CIA. I'm like, bro, he's not a whistleblower. You don't get. He's a whistleblower for doing what the CIA told him to do, and then talking to the media about it. Yeah. Motherfucker, he did his job. What you mean? It's literally his job.
That guy doesn't meet a single qualification of whistleblower, and Bernie chooses him to hold up. And then in that same interview, Ryan Grimm's like, well, what about Reality Winner? And he's all, I've never heard of Reality Winner. I don't know anything.
Yep. I heard about that.
Pulls a Tim Canova. I don't know who Tim Canova is. I only appointed him to. I only worked with him and
literally hired him to the Fed and endorsed him as he was running against the person who cheated me.
In reality, I'm not 100% convinced that Reality Winner is a whistleblower. What she did was leak some documents that.
I'm on the fence with Reality Winner. I'm like, I respect it, but I'm not sure. I still have to.
She's more in jail for not going through the chain of command within like her own unit.
Yeah, which is not necessarily the same thing.
No, that's not Jeremy Hammond. That's not Chelsea Manning. That's definitely not Julian Assange.
Yeah, but no, there's nothing right. Well, shit, Chelsea Manning, really, damn close. Between Chelsea and Julian, man.
That's Ryan Grimm not going for the punch right there. That's not right. That's Ryan Grimm going out of his way to make Bernie more comfortable in answering that question because he doesn't want to talk about Chelsea Manning. He doesn't want to talk about Julian Assange.
And it's, to be real with you, Ryan Grimm was very disingenuous. And by the way, for the most part, I actually like Ryan Grimm for the most part. Because he's actually talked about Julian Assange in the past. He's covered him positively. And obviously, y'all know I like Bernie Sanders, but Ryan Grimm knows he wants Bernie Sanders to win, right? No matter what. And everybody knows that Tulsi is by far and away the best. And this is a huge issue for everybody on every side of the political spectrum. And that's just one advantage that they did not want to give to Tulsi, because it could be ran with if Ryan Grimm puts out this article and then because you know who caught him and made him change his headline? Sophia.
Okay.
Sophia caught him literally as he posted it and was like, he didn't say that he would free all whistleblowers. That's not what he said. And he was like, oh no, here's what I meant.
Yeah, and people to this day are still running with that. That Bernie said he's going to free all of the whistleblowers. Look, I would be remiss at this point if I didn't let the people in the chat right now know and your audience know. I do co-host the Free Assange Vigil every Wednesday with Andrew Smith, Taylor Hudak, and Christy Dopp. We currently have a GoFundMe out because we're trying to get to London to cover the extradition hearing of Julian Assange, and Christy and Andrew are going to be in Washington, D.C., organizing a series of events. So if you can, go to Action for Assange on Twitter. Go to my Twitter at Slow News Day Show. It's my pinned tweet. We would like to be probably the only U.S. independent media presence fairly and accurately covering the extradition hearing. Failing that, and along with that, Andrew and Christy are currently working their asses off to raise awareness about this. We need people out in the streets talking about Julian Assange. Absolutely. If you are going to an anti-war protest, talk about Julian Assange. Absolutely. Those Afghan papers that the Washington Post published 100% vindicated both Chelsea Manning and Julian Assange, and those are the charges that are being used against him right now.
For the 150th time, they've been vindicated, but that's a different discussion.
Yeah.
Go. So make sure you go. Also follow Steve on Slow News Day YouTube channel. Action for Assange is a Twitter. I don't know. Is it the Free Assange Vigil or Action for Assange?
It's the Free Assange Vigil.
Yeah, Free Assange Vigil, and then you have his Twitter account, which is Slow News Day, right? Just Slow News Day.
It's at Slow News Day Show.
Okay, got you. So make sure you go follow him and help them out, man. We do need some coverage of that out there, because we're not going to get the fair coverage we deserve, and that most importantly, Assange and his family deserve as well. So if they're willing to, stop their lives, put it on hold, and go out there and cover this, it's absolutely worth contributing to them. So make sure you go do that. Really quick before we go, there is a super chat. Copernicus Thinker, Niko, have Tulsi super chat to her channel. No. Hell no. That's a fucking campaign finance disaster waiting to happen. Can't do that. especially because it's so difficult to track and people from other countries can donate super chats. So with that being said, Steve, as always, I appreciate you having on. Welcome to the mainstream media smear squad, bro. Much love. You got there way faster than I did. That's for damn sure. I'm just impressive, man. And way less subscribers too, bro. Like you're on the right track. And that's probably mostly why they smeared you. It's mostly because the Assange situation is coming up. Y'all have been very dedicated, and you know your movement there is growing. And that extradition week, I will be shifting gears my damn self, and we will be making sure to bring as much coverage as possible to that. That's a big deal, and I appreciate all the work and the dedication that you have had to Julian Assange, and that goes for Andrew and Taylor and everybody else involved too. You guys are amazing. I love tuning in every now and then. I just gotta kind of remember why I'm fighting and why we do this, and the people who are relying on us to get this election right. And it isn't just about electing the right person; it's about setting the standard of what's important. And you guys have helped to do that by making sure we do not let this Julian Assange travesty really die in the darkness. So we appreciate that, Steve.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No problem at all, man. And for everybody else, make sure that you are subscribed to my Rock Fin, because we about to get it popping on debate night. There's about to be a lot of drama, y'all. Gonna be a good show. I promise you. Because I think that Bernie's a prideful guy, and that shit that Warren pulled probably ain't gonna smooth over well. And who doesn't want to see Elizabeth Warren have to stare her quote unquote friend and colleague in the face and either lie on national television or admit she lied on national television and everybody knows for her career? That shit's gonna be amazing. You know it's coming, and we're gonna be on rockfin.com/Niko. I'm gonna put it in the damn chat real quick and we about to hit up out of here. rockfin.com/Niko, and we gonna get it popping with this live stream. And that shit starts at 9. I will be doing my live stream debate pregame at 8:30 on Rockfin. So I'll see you there. And for everybody else, always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.